Hello, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to the second part of this series about my trip to Georgia recently. Well, more than 2 months ago now, but anyway. In this second part I'm still not actually going to show you Tbilisi, that will come in the next part. Today I want to talk about how difficult it is to get to Tbilisi. First problem is there are no direct flights from the UK to Georgia. That is apparently due to change soon. There is a low-cost Georgian airline called Air Iberia which is supposed to be starting flights direct London to Tbilisi in May. It does now have a website. Last time I looked this all up there was no website, it wasn't appearing on like Skyscanner or Kayak, and there was no evidence that this existed at all. It's now got a website, you can't book, but they claim flights will be beginning in 2024 and London is certainly on the list of cities that they serve, so we'll see about that. But for me, I had to find a connection. The most obvious connection is Istanbul. Turkish Airlines straight through London to Istanbul, Istanbul to Tbilisi, nice and easy. The trouble is that most flights coming from the west get into Tbilisi between about 1 and 4 AM, and I don't particularly want to be arriving in a strange city in the middle of the night where I can't check into my hotel for another 12 hours. So I wanted a flight that came in the afternoon, and that is difficult. I could come in from the east, no problem. If I wanted to fly on to Dubai and then back again, that would be great, that would be fine. Moscow, same. But obviously I didn't want to do either of those options. So what I did was I sat on Tbilisi Airport's website and looked at their arrivals page and looked at the flights that came in the afternoon. And then I looked at how I could get onto those flights, and the one that I eventually went for was from Larnaca, which came in about 5 o'clock in the evening. Now to get on that I needed to leave Larnaca about lunchtime, and to get to Larnaca for lunchtime I had to be there the night before because there was no way that I could get a flight in to Cyprus that early in the morning. So that was my flight, London to Larnaca, and then rather than arrive in the evening and leave the next morning, I gave myself an extra day just to enjoy Larnaca, so it was in Saturday night, out Monday lunchtime. And there we go, we arrived in Tbilisi about 5 o'clock. I arrived in Tbilisi about 5 o'clock, got into the city by 6, half 6, and it all went very smoothly, but it did require an overnight stay somewhere else, 2 overnight stays in fact. That's partly because of the distance. You're looking at roughly a 4-hour flight to your change and then 2-hour flight onwards, plus at least 2 hours in the middle. Plus in the winter, when I was there, Tbilisi is 4 hours ahead of the UK on time, so what would be an 8-hour journey becomes a 12-hour journey as far as your clock is concerned, so that is a bit of a pain. On the way back, the time difference, the 4-hour time difference, works for you rather than against you. So on the way back it was a little bit easier. Flights heading west tend to leave between about 4 and 7 o'clock in the morning, maybe a little bit later. I didn't particularly want to do that because again you're still walking around Tbilisi on your own at 3 o'clock in the morning, not really an option. So I went for a lunchtime flight to Istanbul. Now other people managed to get this same flight, change in Istanbul for a plane to London, no problem. I couldn't find that option. I don't know why I didn't. What I ended up doing was a flight on one booking Tbilisi to Istanbul, Istanbul to Amsterdam, and then on a completely separate booking Amsterdam to London, which is not exactly a problem, but it meant that the luggage wasn't going to transfer automatically, which meant I had to go hand luggage, and if there had been any delays I would have missed that flight. That's not the biggest disaster in the world. Those flights go about every hour. And if I ended up spending the night in Amsterdam and flying the next day, that's not really a massive problem. So that's what I did, and it all worked very smoothly. I had 2 hours to connect each time, which is borderline not enough. By the time you've got off the plane and by the time you've got on the next plane, the actual time in the airport is less than an hour to actually do the transfer. Istanbul and Amsterdam are both designed for transfers, but they're also huge airports and there was a lot of running, not a lot of time for snacks and drinks, and you know, when you're doing a 12-hour journey you want your snacks and drinks. But in this particular case, those 4 hours I got back, so I flew out of Tbilisi about lunchtime, got into London about 8 o'clock in the evening, so as far as my watch was concerned, only 8 hours, so that was nice. And that was how I got to Tbilisi. once these new low-cost direct flights start, you might find me going straight back, because that would be so nice and easy to just get on a plane in Heathrow and step off it again in Tbilisi without any of this faffing around going to Cyprus, going to Istanbul, going to Amsterdam. But at the moment, if you watch the rest of the series and decide you like the look of Tbilisi, just be aware it's a little bit of a pain to get to at the moment.